Obviously, I don't really try to take this
all too seriously. Like, I mean, yeah, the milestones are very nice and whatnot. The fact that I monetize
is really great and whatnot, but even still, I'm not like trying to take it that seriously. I'm just trying to have as much fun with it as possible. Hell, there's a lot of shit that I could have talked about this entire month. I could have talked about the verbal ace shit for all I really care about, but here's the thing. I didn't care, which is why I didn't make a video.
I'm sorry, but just like the stuff that he's playing in the video, I'm not even focused on his voice. I'm just focused on what he's playing.
Yeah, I don't know what this fucking B-roll is. Like, out of all the B-roll that you could have used, like, out of all the B-roll that you could have used, like, you could have just, I don't know, like, for all I care, you could have just, I don't know, just taken the gameplay from my fucking video and just used that as B-roll. Like, I wouldn't have even given a shit, okay? Like, what the fuck is this? Like, you're just...
Ooh, let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
Like, you're just straight up stealing a fucking, like, movie trailer and just sticking it in the background of a fucking video and just calling it B-roll. Like, this doesn't make sense.
Is that copyright?
Hold on.
Just on the off chance that it is, I'm probably just going to be editing it just to make sure, but, like, it just doesn't make any sense, man. I don't get it.
Not for real, though.
Yeah.
Like, no one's gonna focus on your voice. They're just gonna be looking at...
He's a geek. Look, I won't let the guy join the club. I just want to see how many times he can get stung before he goes running home like a baby.
Meet Kevin the genius. Meet Kevin.
It's not all I really do. Sometimes I just cover recent developments and certain things that are going on. Like, for example, the Mama Max situation. That wasn't exactly much of a video response. It was mainly just me covering some of the recent developments that were going on and just kind of going over certain things that came out about it. Really, the only, I guess, video response that I even made about the Mama Max situation was just in response to his absolutely flaccid I take accountability video, which is now gone from his channel. But even then, I wouldn't even really call that much of a video response because technically I already responded to it on a fucking live stream. I was just condensing it down into a fucking video at the end of the day. Or it's not really like, I just don't understand it. Again, it's just showing the fact that he just straight up just didn't do any research, which, once again, is just par for the course for him, considering what I know. Did everyone just fucking die?
No.
Oh.
We're good.
I was worried there for a second. How's it going, everybody? It's your boy Sanity here. So I ended up coming across a very interesting channel in my recommended for some reason. I ended up coming across a channel that goes by the name of Tarragon, or Tarragon. I don't know how the f you pronounce it, let's be honest here. But he's made quite a few different videos, and a few of them for some reason have decided to show up in my recommended. Like, for example, his video going over Under the Mayo's Sifu videos. Literally almost 2 years after Under the Mayo even made those videos. Or even his videos about Ultra Kill, which is a situation that literally was resolved again a year ago at this goddamn point. And, you know, it's just kind of strange that he's even bothered to, like, make these videos. Very fucking late, mind you. But there's one particular video that kept on cropping up whenever I looked this guy up. Or, well, more specifically, whenever he decided to show up. And that is, of course, his video about Elden Ring. Or more specifically, his video from 2 months ago titled Elden Ring, A Harsh Critique. He's made, like, 2 other videos about Elden Ring. Maybe I'll take a look at those if they're anywhere near as entertaining as the one that I came across. But yeah, today we're taking a look at the video titled Elden Ring, A Harsh Critique. And to call this a harsh critique is basically like calling, well, Gordon Ramsay's insults a harsh critique. They're just, well, him screaming insults and not really offering criticism. Except, well, in Gordon Ramsay's case, he's at least professional. Meanwhile, Tarragon is just, well, another average idiot contrarian.
So, you're gonna talk that shit, but then you got a little posse with you that's, you know, that basically caters to your every whim every single time you have to say something about some other YouTuber or somebody else, and they just basically cater to you? Are you fucking kidding me? You have a posse all over your shit. You can't even talk shit on your own. You need a whole fucking posse just to help you talk shit so you can shut the fuck up. That's number one. And number two, who the fuck are you anyway? You're sitting there trashing my shit, talking shit about me. You don't even know me, and you don't even understand what I stated about Elden Ring anyway. I mean, what the fuck? At least I don't have a posse helping me. I do this shit on my own. That's number one. Alright, so let's begin.
So without any further ado, let us take a look at his video about Elden Ring, which has quite a spicy like to dislike ratio, let me tell you. But yeah, let's just get started here.
This game is so overrated. The fact that you have fanboys go crazy over this game. From Software fans are the biggest fanboys I've ever seen. If they don't calm the hell down for 1 second, I mean damn, what the hell is so revolutionary about this game?
The irony of him starting off this video 15 seconds in by shouting like a fucking lunatic on the side of the street screaming about the fucking end times, telling people who are fans of Elden Ring to calm down is just astonishing to me. That's all I have to say. This is not the way that you start off a video. That's all I have to say. What the fuck is your deal? His entire question here, asking about what's so revolutionary about Elden Ring, I mean, I really have no idea what he's about to be getting into here. The video is, like, straight up just exactly 10 minutes long, and I have no idea how long I'm even gonna watch it, considering this is the energy that we're starting off with. I wonder how long he's gonna keep this energy of him screaming as if he apparently has come to a massive revelation about the fact that the universe is a simulation or some shit.
You go around a huge environment that only serves one purpose. Dark Souls again. Only now it's more open and suddenly...
Yeah, and that's kind of the main thing that makes it so unique. That's kind of the main thing about Elden Ring that makes it so unique. The fact that it's an open world game in comparison to the other Souls games makes it extremely unique, meaning that you can tackle shit however the fuck you want with, of course, certain limitations. Like, for example, like, the most that you can really explore before you even beat fucking, like, you know, Godric. I almost said fucking Godfrey. Jesus Christ. Before you beat Godric, the most that you can really explore is like 3 distinct fucking regions, and that's like the Weeping Peninsula, Ligma, I'm sorry, I mean Limgrave, and fucking Caelid. That's like the most that you can explore before you beat fucking Godric and shit like that. But like, the thing is that you can tackle like how you take care of like even the first major boss, which is, you know, I guess you could technically say like the first major boss is actually, you know, Godric, but in my personal opinion, I still say that's probably the fucking Fell Omen guy, Margit. That's like the first like real like, you know, stress test of the game, if you will. Like, you can tackle however you want. You could literally level up to your heart's content until you're like so fucking powerful that you probably knock down Margit in like 1 fucking hit. Like, the game really isn't stopping you. Really, the only limit is how you decide to fucking tackle it, and that's what makes Elden Ring so fucking unique. That's what makes it so unique in comparison to other Souls games. Yes, it's a fucking Souls game, but it's a Souls game where you have a lot more freedom in terms of how you want to tackle things, and that's honestly probably why I enjoy it so much.
First off, now I know how I sound at the moment, but you have to understand that as you listen to his side of the video, guess what? He just trashes and insults me and trashes and insults me. He even calls me an idiot contrarian. That's why I'm talking like this. So this is not just me coming out of nowhere with this. So, let's begin. Yeah, but even though it's open, it doesn't utilize its open world design for immersive sim elements or other open world elements that you would see in Far Cry 3 or Fallout 4 or Skyrim. You don't see those kinds of things, and that's the reason why. If I'm inside of an open world, right, and the open world environment is not being utilized, why do you think I'm so frustrated? Maybe it's because, wow, this is a big open world that isn't really being utilized for anything except for one singular purpose, just action. And this is indeed an action RPG. Action as in fighting action? Yeah, it is. And you're in this huge open environment where the only thing you do is the exact same thing you did in Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. Little to no changes except for a couple of little added things like, oh, you can shield counter and the Ashes of War. Whoa. And Ashes of War is just one technique that you add that has nothing to do with the combat system. That's just a separate ability that you can have. And you can only have one at a time. Tackling things in different ways? I don't think so. In Elden Ring, you gotta dodge, roll, dodge, hit, dodge, roll, dodge, hit, just like every other From Software game. So you play it the exact same way. So what are you talking about? You do not tackle things in different ways. You tackle them all in the exact same fashion. And when people bring up leveling up, you can level up to your heart's content in Dark Souls 1. And guess what? That was linear. So if you're doing the same thing you did in a linear action game or a linear fighting RPG, a linear, because in his second video, he said that it's not an action game. Or someone said that it wasn't an action game. Someone out there actually said that. Guess what? It is. And in a linear action game, like Dark Souls 1, you could fight to your heart's content and level up. And that didn't need to be open world to do that. So you put it in an open world just to utilize the open world for the same thing you do in a linear action game. What is the purpose of it being open then? What is the purpose of Elden Ring's open world? What does it add to the actual gameplay design? After calling me an idiot contrarian while you had your little posse support your every little whim, I don't want to hear it from you. So don't tell me to calm down. I'm not calming down for shit. That's number one. And number two, what you laid down about Elden Ring, I ask once again, what purpose does the open world environment actually serve?
It's different. Are you fucking serious? Let's assess the aspects, people, because I'm having a hard time seeing why people put this game up like it's the coming of Jesus.
Okay, buddy, you might want to calm the fuck down there, because I don't think there's anyone, at least anyone reasonable, that is going around and trying to claim that it's like the reincarnation of Jesus fucking Christ or anything along those lines. At least not as far as I've seen.
People are claiming it's the reincarnation of Jesus Christ. People are claiming it's one of the greatest games of all time, saying it's revolutionary, groundbreaking, and defied all gaming conventions. So that's not an exaggeration to say that people actually see Elden Ring as a groundbreaking achievement in video game history. And I have no idea why it's garnered this level of acclaim when it's really just another From Software game with the same combat, the same movement, and the same mechanics.
I mean, who knows? Maybe you've come across quite a few fucking raving sycophants. But, like, in my opinion, the most that I've seen is, like, you know, people just really fucking loving the game to the point where they're willing to defend it tooth and nail. And here's the thing, to an extent, I guess I am kind of that kind of person, where I am, in fact, willing to just, like, defend this fucking game as much as possible, but even still, there's some things that I have some problems with when it comes to Elden Ring, don't get me wrong, a lot of which mainly comes from the fact that a lot of the, like, late game bosses have a lot of AoE shit that's really hard to dodge, but, like, aside from that, there's really not too much to complain about when it comes to Elden Ring.
So for you, there's not too much to complain about, or really. The lack of dialogue options, the lack of fighting with companions, not just summons, the lack of actual open world activities and utilizing the open world design. The only thing that you do in the open world is fighting and leveling up and getting ready to fight the next boss. You already did that in Dark Souls, so what makes this so special?
First off, the combat system is the exact same combat design seen in From Software games. My God! This is repetitive, because if you play Sekiro, Bloodborne, Dark Souls 1, motherfucker, you've played Elden Ring! Ah!
Thank you, I didn't want to hear shit today anyways. Jokes aside, man, that's kind of also one of the other main draws when it actually comes to Souls games. It's the simple fact that FromSoft seems to kind of take this entire position of, well, if it ain't broke, don't really try to fix it. Well, if it ain't broke,
don't really try to fix it.
Uh-oh, retard alert! Retard alert, class!
You're the 10th billionth person who said, oh, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So that doesn't solve the problem. And you didn't prove your point. You basically confirmed that, yeah, this is the same fundamental mechanics. They didn't change anything. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So guess what? You just proved my point. If they're clearly doing something right, then why don't you tell me what they're doing right exactly? Come on, bring up some examples. Horizon Zero Dawn, Spider-Man on the PS4 and Ghost of Tsushima, Sucker Punch, Insomniac Games, and Guerrilla Games. So yes, you can say that about other AAA developers, so you are objectively wrong. So, wanna try that again?
And that's probably why the combat system is still relatively similar to other Souls-type games. It's because it's just that effective.
Why is this happening? Why are they repeating the same shit, assets, and animations? And why am I yelling?
To answer your first question there, it's probably because From Software doesn't really feel like trying to reinvent the wheel with every single game, and they at least understand to an extent just how effective it is. Like, I mean, sure, yeah, they were surprised by just how successful Elden Ring really was, but it just further amplified the fact that they're just kind of like, well, I mean, I guess people are willing to even play this game, then I guess we're doing something right. Like, they're clearly doing something right, and honestly, that's commendable. I mean, that's not really something that you could really even say about any other AAA publishers or developers out there nowadays. A lot of them try to reinvent the wheel with every single new game, and it either is decently successful or a colossal flop depending on how they even handle it. But with From Software, they at least take something that's familiar and just kind of change things up just enough so that way it still feels unique enough, but still keep the overall essence of what makes the original systems as effective as they were.
Reinventing the wheel with a sequel, at least a sequel, is a fantastic thing that shows incredible gameplay innovation. You better get the fuck out of here with that bullshit, making it like that's a bad thing. That's an incredible thing. And you do not see that with From Software, but you do see it with other developers. Devil May Cry 3 reinvented the entire wheel, and guess what? It was very successful. Kingdom Hearts 2 reinvented the entire wheel of their combat mechanics. Guess what? It is a masterpiece of action RPG design. So you are once again objectively wrong and factually incorrect, and you better try that again.
I mean, really, from what I've seen, the main things that were added in when it comes to Elden Ring were like jumping attacks and like the ability to, well, actually jump without needing to fucking have a running head start first, which, yeah, that was really fucking fun to deal with when I was trying to play Dark Souls 3.
Whoa, stand back, jumping without needing a head start. So much game innovation. What about actual gameplay mechanics? What about the actual combat system? Did they evolve it? Did they add different kinds of attack moves that you can earn throughout the game as you level up? No. The combat system stays the same from the end game all the way from the beginning. From the beginning all the way till the end. So the combat doesn't even get changed. So the combat stays the exact same just like every other From Software game. They haven't evolved their combat system. They've only added minor, and I mean minute, changes into its core mechanics. They haven't added a lot of changes to the actual combat system. Once again, you are yet again another person who did not play Dark Souls 3 like that, or at least you didn't play it as much prior to playing Elden Ring. So that might be why Elden Ring impresses you so much, because you didn't realize the similarity between Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring. They're very similar games, except Elden Ring is in an open-ended environment, while Dark Souls 3 is much more linear. You're saying From Software knows what they're doing and that's why they don't try to change much. Well, guess what? You're using the if it ain't broke, don't fix it fallacy. And I call it a fallacy because that's a very cheap regard in order to try to defend bad levels of innovation, not innovating in your combat system, not innovating in your gameplay design, not even innovating in your open world design, and just basically plopping you in a huge open environment and just saying, forget it. All right, that's it. And not really doing much with your open world design to make it more enticing to want to explore the open world. The only thing you're going to find is a bunch of gear, weapons, bosses, and enemies. You saying, oh, they know what they're doing, they don't need to change anything, and then that's what leads to the lack of innovation here. That's the thing. Your combat system doesn't need to be changed. Oh, just keep it the exact same, it'll be the same each and every single solitary game. And you won't evolve it or do anything unique with it or add different attack moves with it to keep it compelling and interesting. So that's basically your take. And that, again, you're defending bad levels of innovation. You're defending lack of innovation. And a lot of people like you get on games like Horizon Zero Dawn when those games actually innovated. That has a unique combat system never before seen. And there's different things you can do in its open world environment. Its open world environment is fluctuated, full, and alive, and yet people get on that. But of course they praise Elden Ring, a game that didn't even innovate in its combat system, a game that didn't even innovate in open world design, and yet they put this up like it's the coming of Jesus. You're saying that they're not saying that it's revolutionary. Actually, yes, they are. People are saying it defied all gaming conventions. It's one of the most groundbreaking games of our time. It's one of the best video games ever made, and it's one of the most critically acclaimed games of all time, and it has won more Game of the Year awards than probably any game in the history of video gaming. So yeah, people are claiming that it's so groundbreaking, it's so revolutionary, but what did it really do that was so revolutionary? Nothing. It didn't revolutionize open world design. It didn't revolutionize its own combat system that is the same combat system as Dark Souls. How is that groundbreaking? And you say it's revolutionary for a Souls game. Really? No. Dark Souls 1 was groundbreaking. Demon Souls was groundbreaking. That was revolutionary for a Souls game. After that, they started making spin-offs that just had minute to slight changes and alterations to its overall mechanics, not really doing much with its combat system. Only slight alterations, nothing drastic or nothing different, or adding multiple different attack moves. None of that. Not only this, but then by the time they got to Elden Ring, they put it in a more open-ended environment, and then didn't really revolutionize with that either, because the open world environment is only filled with just a bunch of enemies and bosses, just like other Dark Souls and other From Software games. So they didn't innovate there. So what part of that is groundbreaking for a Souls series? Really, this is just a standard Souls game. I don't think it's groundbreaking. I think it's just, hey, this is another Souls game. People keep bringing up going out, leveling up, taking a break. Let me explain this to you, okay? You can do that exact same thing in Dark Souls 1, and Dark Souls 2, and Dark Souls 3, and even Sekiro. You can grind the enemies around the area for as long as you want, over and over and over, until you start leveling up in the game. Now, I know in Sekiro it's a little different, but I'm talking about specifically Dark Souls. In Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, with a stat system, you can go out of your way and fight other enemies, take a break from the bosses, fight them for a long time, especially in Dark Souls 1 when everything was interconnected. So if you could do that exact same thing in other Dark Souls games, including the first Dark Souls, what makes it so special now that it's in Elden Ring? That's not some kind of groundbreaking revolutionary thing. That's not some kind of innovative, I'm tackling things in different ways kind of thing. All that is the same thing you did in Dark Souls 1. Leveling up, going to a different area, taking a break from the bosses. You could already do that. You don't have environmental interactivity. Now, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, a game where you can throw a weapon at an object and kill other people with that same object. Environmental interactivity like that is not in Elden Ring. Completing things in different ways. Well, in a game like Killzone Mercenary, you can go demolition, you can go sniper, you can go all out. Hell, even in Halo, it's more sandboxy and lets you pick however way you want to defeat or complete missions. So not only Halo, but games like Killzone Mercenary literally give you that freedom. Or I can go stealth, I can go demolition, I can use a sniper, or I can use assault. These are different ways to complete certain situations. This is the thing. In Elden Ring, you do it the same way. You dodge, you roll, dodge, hit, roll, dodge, hit, roll, dodge. Everything boils down to the exact same gameplay loop, regardless of where you go. That's in every From Software game, including Elden Ring.
Couldn't really get too much into the game. Maybe I'll fucking revisit it at some point, who the fuck knows, but that's besides the point. The main point that I'm trying to say here is, FromSoft knows what the fuck they're doing, and that's why they don't really try to change too much, and that's just kind of my own personal take on things, and that's why I kind of find them as like the Giga Chads of like the AAA gaming industry. And of course, to answer your second question of why the fuck are you yelling, well, it's probably because you are already just a raving fucking lunatic. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Maybe you shouldn't have started off this strong in your video.
Well, here's the thing. People claim this game is so groundbreaking. It's so revolutionary. Are you fucking kidding me? What did it even do with its open world design? What did it do new? Even with its combat system. This overused ass combat system.
They aren't saying that's like entirely revolutionary, at least not from what I've seen. It's revolutionary for a Souls game, especially having such an open world environment and the freedom to choose how you decide to tackle things. Like in other Souls games, at least from what I've seen and from what I've heard, if you're getting stuck on a boss, well, the only thing that you could reasonably do is just try to push past the boss and try not to fucking die. Meanwhile, in Elden Ring, sure, you can do that if you truly want to, if you truly feel like you have the testicles to do so, but you could also, well, handle it at your own pace. Go out of your way, take a break, level up a little bit, and then maybe come back if you think that you're ready enough. Go around and collect some shit if you feel like it. Maybe try and experiment with some different types of weapons than what you started off with. I don't fucking know. Sky is the fucking limit at the end of the day when it comes to Elden Ring, and that's what makes it cool. That's what keeps people coming back.
That has been utilized in so many games, and now, oh look, it's being utilized in an open world where they don't even do open world shit.
I'm sorry, what do you mean they haven't done open world shit? What are you fucking talking about?
You don't have open world activities, freedom, NPCs with quest lines, dialogue options, RPG mechanics, environmental interactivity. Where the fuck is it?
It's present throughout the entirety of the fucking game. It's not my fault that you probably suck so much fucking ass at this game, judging by this gameplay. If this gameplay is in fact yours, dear God, you suck. I mean, obviously, if you decide to practice a little bit more, then maybe you wouldn't suck nearly as much, and you probably wouldn't be as much of a raging fucking moron, but like what you just said here is just straight up wrong. There's really not much else I can say about it other than you're just wrong.
Oh, dear God, you suck. Shut the fuck up. What matters is the gameplay design, the open world design, the real shit. Shit you're not paying attention to because you're too busy talking so much shit all the time. Instead of being busy talking shit, why don't you get your facts together and actually assess the damn game? Because as far as I can tell, you haven't even assessed that much. You just said that, oh well, From Software just knows what they're doing. That's not enough of an assessment. You better break something down instead of just talking shit. Raging fucking moron. Again, dumbass, what matters is what you assess from the game. So instead of talking shit, why don't you start with the assessing already? And now you're ranting. You just got on me about ranting. And so is Elden Ring. You're doing the same thing, so you're a goddamn hypocrite. And the fact that you talk that kind of heavy shit, and yet you also rant too, makes you look like a complete hypocrite. You better stay on topic and focus on the damn game.
Skyrim is a true fucking open world. It might slack in the RPG mechanical department, but it's still a true goddamn open world.
And so is Elden Ring! In fact, in my opinion, I think Elden Ring tackles the open world fantasy environment better than Skyrim in some aspects.
You think Elden Ring tackles the open world better in Skyrim? In Skyrim, you could start a home, start a family, build a house. You can literally take your gear and armor and you can actually customize it yourself and repair it, build it, and mantle it. You can do that manually on your own using materials that you bought from stores and barters and stuff like that. You can actually interact with the environment in Skyrim. You can go to sleep, wake up, and see a bunch of people on their own routines. You could go have a random encounter. You could just be exploring and some random individual just shows up out of nowhere and you have this incredible story and quest line that just comes out of it. Skyrim is immersive as hell. Don't you ever compare an immersive sim-inspired open world exploration, rewarding you for exploration, by the way, based game like Skyrim that rewards you for exploration. Don't you ever compare something like that to something like Elden Ring, where the only thing you do is just roam around fighting all the time, just like Shadow of Mordor. That's another game where you roamed around an open environment, but you were just fighting. Nobody called it groundbreaking, nobody called it revolutionary, but when From Software does it, suddenly it's so groundbreaking. When From Software does it, suddenly it's just so profound. Oh, get the fuck out of here with that shit. It didn't innovate, it's not revolutionary, and it damn sure ain't groundbreaking. And for you to ever compare something like Skyrim that has immersive sim elements to something like Elden Ring where all you do is roam and fight, there is no comparison. One prioritizes exploration, that is the main focus. The other, all you're doing is fighting the entire time. It prioritizes just fighting, and that's all its open world is there for. There is literally no comparison. Don't even try it.
It's fun, large, and the world is responsive.
Again, so is Elden Ring's environment. So is Elden Ring's environment. What the fuck else do you want? So far, we are only, like, barely 2 minutes in. We aren't even 2 minutes in. And I just have so many questions, and most of which just revolve around, what did you want from Elden Ring? If you wanted Skyrim from Elden Ring, then play fucking Skyrim.
What the fuck else do I want? I would like it to be like Far Cry 3 or Fallout 4 or Skyrim. I would like it to be a Skyrim immersive sim inspired / open world exploration based game that does not just prioritize just you fighting in some open-ended environment. No, it prioritizes exploration. The enemies and NPCs, there's companions, and the NPCs and people have actual routines, and there's dialogue options. I'd like RPG mechanics in terms of dialogue, not just in terms of a stat system. I liked so much more. I would like it to be a lot like Skyrim in that sense, and it wasn't. Imagine an open world game that had Skyrim-like immersive sim elements, and it was Dark Souls. And it did something unique with its combat system. It lets you learn new attack moves and techniques. It would be one of the greatest games of all time. That's what I'm expecting, and not something like this. And hell, even if you didn't upgrade your combat system, if you at least fluctuated your open world environment and actually added a decent amount of stuff that you would see in Skyrim, where it prioritizes exploration. And I'm not talking about exploration just to explore and find a boss to fight. No, dude, I'm talking about immersive sim elements. If that was an Elden Ring, alright, that wouldn't be so half bad. That would be a huge improvement. But no, it doesn't even at least have that. Yes, the combat system design is the exact same as Dark Souls. That's a problem, because they did not evolve their combat system mechanics. From Dark Souls 1, years and years later to Elden Ring, and the combat mechanics are still fundamentally the same. They haven't even upgraded it or changed it. That's it? I'm not making shit up. All it did was take Dark Souls 3 and refine it, but then it put it in an open-ended environment and didn't do anything with its open world environment. So it's really Dark Souls 3.5. It's like a DLC for Dark Souls 3. That's not innovative. No, it's not what you keep saying. You keep saying this, that, and the fucking third. No, that's not what I was expecting. I was expecting something like Far Cry 3 or Fallout 4 or Skyrim or Oblivion. Something along those lines in terms of its open world activity, its open world fluctuation, something that this game does not have because its open world only serves one singular purpose. Let me give you the prime example. There's a video game that I love called Shadow of Mordor. It's open-ended, but all you do is fight. Did people call it revolutionary? No. Did people call it groundbreaking? No. Did people say, oh, this combat system is revolutionary? No, because that is the same combat system called the free flow combat system, which was pioneered from Treyarch Spider-Man 2, later taken in Arkham Asylum. So that combat system, the free flow combat system, has been done numerous times. And yet, when From Software does it, suddenly it's groundbreaking because it's Dark Souls combat. No. Nobody called it groundbreaking when it was the free flow combat system. Just because it's From Software's combat system doesn't make it groundbreaking. That's ridiculous, because you should really be calling Shadow of Mordor groundbreaking at that point, since it does the same thing. Shadow of Mordor's open world environment only serves one purpose: fighting. And no one even called it open world. They called it an action game, because that's what it actually is. It's not even an open world title. It's really an action game, because everything you do in the open world is just about action, 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 and that is it. Yes, you can go stealth in Shadow of Mordor, but it's overall just action based. You fight huge, large hordes of enemies at a time, and you fight some of the hardest bosses in the game everywhere. It is fucking incredible. However, people claim that Elden Ring is suddenly groundbreaking and revolutionary when it does that exact same thing, except this is From Software's formula doing it. And yet, when From Software does it, it's groundbreaking. When Shadow of Mordor does it, it's just an action game. That is a fucking double standard, and it is absolute bullshit. By the way, all that damn ranting you're doing, alright? You got on me about my ranting, and now look at you. You're a hypocrite.
You don't play Elden Ring for Skyrim. What is this point you're trying to make here? Because all it's doing is confusing the fuck out of me.
Game is just like From Software linear games. NPCs are stagnant as hell and only say one quote of dialogue, just like Dark Souls.
Something tells me you didn't bother to try and exhaust any of the dialogue, did you?
The combat, the meticulous movement, and fighting, yeah! That's like Dark Souls! The combat system is the exact same combat design as Dark Souls 3!
So what? Again, I'm I'm just finding myself asking this same question. We are only 2 minutes in, and so far my only question so far throughout this entire video has just been, what did you fucking expect? What did you expect? Did you expect, like... I don't know what he would have So far, all you've done is just straight up lie about how the fucking systems work in Elden Ring, and just make shit up. And then leave me wondering what it is you even expected.
Dark Souls 3 took the combat design of the first Dark Souls, and it made it more refined.
That's what Elden Ring did. It took the combat system of fucking Dark Souls 3, and it enhanced upon it, and added it to an open world environment. Again, you're just making shit up!
So if that's the case, motherfucker, how in the fuck is duplicating the same combat system you utilized in Dark Souls 3? How in the flippity flying fuck is that revolutionary?
Something tells me you haven't played Dark Souls 3 or Elden Ring. At least not for a long time. I don't know what the fuck else you would have expected. Were you expecting like the four-armed doll lady to come out of your fucking computer screen and suck you off or something? Like, I'm wondering what it is that you expected from this fucking game.
What the fuck are you people talking about? Dude, this game isn't revolutionary. From an open world aspect, compare this to Oblivion. It's not revolutionary. From a gaming aspect, from a combat system aspect, and from an open world aspect, again, compare this game to Oblivion.
Again, now you're just comparing apples to oranges again. First you were comparing it to fucking Skyrim, and now you're comparing it to fucking Oblivion? What is it? What are you trying to fucking say? What is it? I am baffled that this video exists! You are just making so much shit up, and none of it is making any lick of sense. None of this shit makes sense. I am just... What?
At this waste, large-ass mother-flipping environment! Holy cow, people! Holy cow, it's goddamn huge and beautiful! What the fuck is this?
Again, judging by your gameplay, you haven't even made it past fucking Limgrave. The environment's past Limgrave, and even to an extent, Limgrave itself is pretty fucking stunning. Like, look at this shit! Look at this shit! I don't even know what I'm showing on screen, but it's probably some of the best shit that I have in my fucking screenshots folder from Elden Ring. This shit looks beautiful as fuck!
Dude, this huge-ass environment is just being utilized for Dark Souls shit! It's Dark Souls again! What the fuck?
Yes, it's Dark Souls within a fucking open-world environment. That's what makes it revolutionary. Please, for the love of God, remember, learn how to put 2 and 2 together. 1 + 1 = fucking 2, you fucking moron!
Just stay on topic and assess the damn game. And why am I talking like this? Well, maybe that's because you insulted me numerous times throughout this video. So, assess the damn game already. I just gave you examples and I explained why the fundamentals of its open world design was not utilized properly. And yet you still claim, oh, you're just making shit up. That's not making shit up. That's a real, actual fundamental issue with the game. One of the biggest issues is that From Software fans are so unreasonable when it comes to other people not liking their game and having criticisms of the game and claiming, oh, the criticisms aren't legitimate. Oh, you're just making stuff up. No, or else people wouldn't be saying this shit about the game. Your overrated ass game is not the pinnacle of Jesus, all right? There are issues with this game, and the fact that you would insult someone just because they have a different opinion from you is so fucking baffling. You want to talk about baffling? Your fucking attitude towards people who don't like the game is fucking baffling. You sitting there insulting them and acting like your shit, such hot shit, is so fucking ridiculous. Get the fuck over yourself and realize that it's all right to have an issue with Elden Ring. So what? It doesn't mean you insult people about it. It doesn't mean you get on them about it and say, what do you want? What did you expect? Maybe they expected something like Far Cry and instead they got, well, Dark Souls again, and were shocked at the level of similarity that it is, thinking it would innovate a little bit more. Yes, Elden Ring's graphics are good, but I don't care about the graphics. I care about the gameplay. I care about the open world design, the open world environment. But it's not revolutionary just because it takes Dark Souls in an open environment. Please stop saying that over and over. That's ridiculous because it didn't even do anything with its open world environment like that. All you do is do the exact same thing you do in Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 3. You do the exact same thing. There's no difference. So if this is like a modification of Dark Souls 3's formula, what the hell makes this so revolutionary? That's false. It is not revolutionary. I know what the fuck 1 + 1 is, you fucking asshole. You don't fucking talk to me like that. I don't even fucking know you like that. So you need to hush the fuck up. That's the first thing. The second thing is, like I said before, it didn't utilize its open world environment like that. So I don't want to hear it from you, douche. Eat this. And since it didn't utilize its open world environment, that is the reason why there is a fundamental issue. Because other open worlds utilize the fact that it's open world. Elden Ring doesn't utilize that. It's basically utilizing this whole huge environment just to do the exact same thing you did with Dark Souls, giving people effectively just another From Software game that is just like Dark Souls. Another Souls game. Bam. The end. Instead of innovating, this shouldn't be like Dark Souls. This should be more than just Dark Souls. This should be Dark Souls with open world elements and fluctuated environments.
Oh my god, this is just so bafflingly dumb. This is mind-numbing. How long have I even been recording this shit for? I've been recording for 20 fucking minutes. 20 minutes, and I've only made it 2 minutes into a fucking video. Holy shit. What do I even say? What do I even say? You know what? I have nothing else to say. We're just gonna stop it right here. I've already recorded for long enough, and I feel like we would probably only be 5 minutes in after an hour of recording. There's so much back-to-back-to-back-to-back stupidity that I just can't fucking handle it anymore, and we're just gonna cut it off here. We're just gonna cut it off here just for the sake of my own brain. But yeah, anyways, guys, what did we learn today? Well, we've learned that apparently someone doesn't know how to put 2 and 2 together, so yeah, that's really about it. But yeah, anyways, guys, if you guys enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a like. That's very well appreciated.
And NPCs with dialogue options and routines, and RPG mechanics with dialogue choices, and companions that you can go on quest lines with, and deep, intricate, random encounters and quest lines as well. Yeah, you can go on certain missions and stuff like that, but it works just like Dark Souls. When you meet someone in Dark Souls, sometimes you can literally go on a certain level or a mission or something along those lines. Or you can do something and you can do a secret there as well. In Elden Ring, all they did was take this and turn it into a mission in the open world, and then bam, that's it. So you can do missions in the open world, but you don't do elaborate quest lines like you do in Skyrim. It's just basically you going after an enemy to fight a boss or enemy. In Elder Scrolls or Fallout, you actually go on quest lines that can do way more than just fighting. There's intricate dialogue options, there's choices, there's deep, intricate storylines. In Elden Ring, you don't go on quest lines like that. You literally go around its huge open environment just to fight a bunch of bosses and enemies. That is literally all you do. And yeah, you might have like missions or secrets from the people that you speak to, but that's not the same as going on an elaborate quest line. Yeah, and you saying, oh, we just don't know to put 2 and 2 together. I can put this together. It took you and an entire posse just to get on somebody else, so I wouldn't talk. That's number 1. Number 2, you really gotta have like 4 different people just to back your shit when I do this shit on my fucking own, and I can take on every last one of you as well. Wow. And you sit there and just sit there with your little posse talking shit behind a fucking cover. So I wouldn't be fucking talking. I don't have no posse backing my shit. Where the fuck is my posse? Oh yeah, it's me. I actually back my shit on my fucking own, unlike some people. And that is what I'm laying down. And this was Tarragon. Thank you for watching. And by the way, Elden Ring is not a revolutionary game. It's not. There's nothing groundbreaking about it. It's not groundbreaking. It's not revolutionary. That's an exaggeration from From Software fans. And that is pretty much what I'm laying down. This was Tarragon. Thank you for watching.